Greetings. Theodore Clement Steele, or T.C. Steele, was an Indiana artist through and through. He was the eldest child of saddle maker Samuel Hamilton and his wife Harriet Newell Evans Steele. The family resided in Gosport, Indiana, until moving to Waveland in 1852. His art training began there in Waveland Collegiate Institute. Following that, he studied art at Asbury College in Wabash, Indiana, then at Chicago and at Cincinnati. He returned to Central Indiana to paint commissioned portraits. The Indiana State Museum manages his restored home and gardens as a state historic site. This podcast relates the story of T.C. Steele. Visitors to the T.C. Steele State Historic Site will find this marker in the garden. Title of the marker, T.C. Steele Home and Studio. Location, State Road 46 and T.C. Steele Road, southeast corner, Belmont, Brown County, Indiana. Installed by 1992, the Indiana Historical Bureau. Marker ID 07.1992.1. Marker text, Theodore Clement Steele, 1847 through 1926, lived and painted south of here, 1907 through 1926. Member of the Hoosier group of American Impressionists, his landscape paintings captured picturesque panoramas characteristic of the area. Property as State Historic Site, listed in the National Register of Historic Places, 1973. T.C. Steele State Historic Site, 4220 T.C. Steele Road, Nashville, Indiana, 47448. Phone 812-988-2785. Short history by the author. Theodore Clement Steele, September the 11th, 1847 through July 24th, 1926. Theodore Clement Steele, or T.C. Steele, was an Indiana artist through and through. He was the eldest child of saddle maker Samuel Hamilton and his wife Harriet Newell Evans Steele. The family resided in Gosport, Indiana, until moving to Waveland in 1852. His art training began there in Waveland Collegiate Institute. Following that, he studied art at Asbury College in Wabash, Indiana, then at Chicago, and then Cincinnati. He returned to Central Indiana to paint commissioned portraits. Marriage, family, and study in Germany. Marriage, family, and study in Germany. After marrying Mary Elizabeth Lakin, he moved to Battle Creek, Michigan. The family lived there until the birth of their second child, Daisy. He moved his family back to Indianapolis. In Indiana, he supported his family through commissioned portraits and commercial artwork. His friend, Herman Lieber, helped him go to Germany to study art and arrange finances for the family. Upon his return, Steele's skill and reputation grew. He painted mostly scenes from Indiana, with the Muscatatuck River and other rural scenes as his favorites. His frequent out-of-state expeditions provided him with more work for his palette and brush. Reputation grows. His art began to find the audience out of state. During the 1890s, his career took off as he published the Steele Portfolio. His work began to appear in major studios and art shows in Chicago, St. Louis, and Indianapolis. It was during the Chicago show that he became instrumental in forming the Hoosier group of Indiana painters. House of the Singing Winds. In 1899, Elizabeth died. In August 1907, Steele married Selma Neubacher. His search for landscape painting led him to Metamora, Indiana, and the wild Whitewater River. After stays in Brookville, Vernon, and Indianapolis, Steele found a secluded property in Brown County, Indiana. They purchased the property and built the house they called House of the Singing Winds in 1907. Steele's painting had been exhibited in international galleries, and his fame was at its height. He built a studio, and they planted gardens around the home. His presence near Nashville, Indiana, attracted many other artists to the area. Thus began the Brown County Art Colony. In 1916, Steele received an honorary doctorate from Indiana University. In 1922, he became the university's first artist in residence. After suffering a heart attack in 1925, he recovered and continued working. On July the 24th, 1926, he sickened and died at the House of the Singing Winds. The House of the Singing Winds is now an extension of the Indiana State Museum and a state historic site. It is open to the public 6 days a week. The home contains an extensive collection of his work. The gardens are open to the public and accessible by 5 hiking trails. His art studio is open to the public. Other attractions. In addition to the House of the Singing Winds, The garden and art gallery visitors can enjoy the Dewar Log Cabin. Selma purchased this cabin from its site 5 miles away and reconstructed it on the property. She filled with natural history displays. Visitors can also hike in the 92-acre Selma Steele Nature Preserve. Abundant wildlife, wildflowers, and beautiful terrain provide a relaxing experience. Special events, displays, and art sales. The Friends of T.C. Steele State Historic Site provide guided tours to the home and grounds. They also conduct numerous special events, art shows, live plays, and other events throughout the year. For more information, call the provided phone number or visit the website. Find out information about the T.C. Steele State Historic Site, as well as many other destinations in South Central Indiana, in my book, South Central Indiana Day Trips. The book includes many road trips in the region, including state and local parks, wineries and breweries, museums, and historic sites. I have also included a complete listing of historical markers installed by the Indiana History Bureau. I like historic markers because they note local events and people that may be unknown but have contributed to the state or nation's history. I include the full text of the marker and provide additional background information. You can find my books on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Apple, and other online book retailers in ebook or softbound versions. I have audiobook versions available on Google Play. You may also purchase the books direct from me on my website, www.mossyfeetbooks.com. My books are on sale at the Walnut Street Variety Shop in George Street,